Hey guys, it's Paul Singh, the market speculator, with the weekly swing report, and the first one we've done at bullsonwallstreet.com. And before I begin here, let me really quickly talk about the Swing Trade Alerts service. Great for part-time traders here. If you go to Swing Trade Alerts, you'll see here the page here, and you can sign up for the weekly swing report, which most of you already have. There's a monthly plan, quarterly plan, 99 bucks a month, and then this annual plan. And again, I've talked about this. I wasn't down with this price. Can also give it a try, and we're going to see that you get 50% off here at about $50 a month if you sign up for the annual plan. Then you've got this Swing Trade Alerts dashboard with the current report, trade notifications. We send out trade alerts, go in depth here on what I'm looking at each day. So much more in depth than the weekly report here. And then you have access to all the other stuff we do here. Now, let's get to the weekly report. Let's look at SPY here. We've had this huge run. And as this was developing here, this W bottom formation, we stalked this very closely, profited big time, not only from SPY, but from some of the commodity sectors in here. Basically gaming this W pattern, played it strategically a few ways here, went off this hammer, and recently got out as it was testing the 200-day moving average. It made such a big run here. We were overbought. You could see here with the stochastic measures, way overbought. We did consolidate a little bit, and I talked about this, that if it broke out over the 200-day and held, we'd consider getting back in, and that's what's setting up right now. So the 200-day, we've cleared it very easily here. Now I want to see it consolidate a little bit. If it runs, I'll look for some stocks. But right now, I'd like to see a little bit of consolidation and then a breakout or a pullback in here, a test, and then we start to move up. If that happens this week, I will get in, and the great thing is we've got the Fed behind us. Nothing unexpected came out of that. So we basically have clear sailing now up to the old highs here around 212. So that's what we're going to be looking at here this week. It's what's in play this week. Do we hold the 200-day? And if we look at some other IWM here, now this is measuring more of the small caps, and this has been lagging SPY. You can see here we're under the 200-day moving average. I actually like that because now we've got some room to run. And if you noticed last week, especially if you are a day trader, you noticed a lot of junk that was doing really well. You know, we had these biotechs that were 100% movers, a lot of other stuff outside of the commodity space, which has been actually leading SPY. But that's an indication that maybe the small caps are ready to move, and actually 1% move on Friday, whereas SPY basically broke even. So we are going to focus a little bit on on small caps here, and see if IWM can't run, and we can play that with TNA, which is leveraged ETF. And then the Qs have been lagging a little bit. They're right at the 200-day, so we're going to watch for a break there. Now, outside of the indexes, I always do a sector analysis on the weekend, and what we've been watching here, what we actually expected going into the year. We did a webinar early 2016 in January. We talked about this, basically a change in trend from 2015 to 2016, whereas FANG and tech and social media were leading. In 2015, commodities getting crushed. The exact opposite in 2016, and that has played out exactly as we expected. And we got some great trades out of that in oil, in energy, in copper, steel. And we can see here, if we look at the leaders, these are the leading sectors over the last week, and we look at these patterns, these big runs here in the sector. This is copper, which is led by FCX, so that's on our radar. Silver here, very extended. Truck manufacturing, which is not a commodity, but anytime you have commodities running, transports will run, because what do you do to move transports? You need it to move commodities. You need transport. So trucking, shipping, shipping logistics here. So these are all leading, and they're all tied into commodities. We have a few other sectors: lodging. Here we go: steel, oil, resorts, and casinos. This is the one surprise for me here, and the leader right now in this sector is Wynn, which has made a huge run here after about a year or two of downtrend. So we see a bottoming formation here. a lot of volume coming in, and that's what I'm always interested in. Tracking money flow, we have a good sense that the big guys are building positions here. So I am going to look at some point here to get into when broke out on Friday. I'd like to see a little bit of a pullback. Really tough to get in when it's this extended, but definitely on our radar. A few other sectors in play. Education is one paper which is related to commodities, and everybody wants to talk about gold, so let's take a look at gold. I've actually taken a short position in gold here, and basically playing a pullback here after this big run. We'll see if that plays out. And now that I'm talking about my positions, let me talk about a few other ones. Through that bottoming formation, we've been playing oil, and we can see here we got into UWTI at 21. I actually on Friday took partial profits at 29, and our target here was at 29 to 30. Took a partial at 29, actually pulled back to 27. I do expect a little bit of a pullback here. Oil is pretty extended, but the overall pattern is still a bottoming formation after this huge run down, and still a lot of room to move here. So, I'll look for another run and try to take a full profit there. One other stock that I'm in right now, this is in the education space, which I talked about being a leading sector, but I played a parabolic short here. We're still in it. Now, it hasn't really moved yet, kind of floating up here, but stop is up here over the inverted hammer, and we're looking for a pullback in here. So this week, the key is going to be basically watching SPY hold that 200-day and then seeing how the commodities do. Do they continue to run here? And if they do, I will actually look for a possible short, playing a pullback, even though I like the sector. But it's kind of a trend within a trend play where I'm going to short it, even though I like the sector overall. So we'll be watching commodities very closely, and then again seeing if SPY holds that 200-day, and then I'll look for some other stocks. I talked about Win already. Cyber here is kind of bottoming and has remounted the 50-day moving average. Maybe it makes a run to 200, and we've got a bunch of other stocks here we're watching every day. Now, if you're a member of the Trade Alert, you get my daily focus list. Every day I go over what's going on in the market, what I'm looking to trade, and then obviously if I do make a trade intraday, you get a trade alert. So if you're interested in more of this free weekly report, you can go ahead and sign up for the trade report. And to everybody else, I'll see you next week.